Hello everybody, welcome back to Tropical Update number 46 on severe tropical storm Ida, Invest 97 and Invest 98L. As we can see now, major hurricane status explicitly forecast from the National Hurricane Center that Category 3, 120 mile an hour Ida is going to be making its way towards Louisiana this weekend. Hurricane watches in effect there. Hurricane warnings now in effect for the Isle of Youth in western Cuba. So that's kind of where we're at the moment with this storm, looking much like a hurricane on the satellite presentation and according to data from aircraft recon. And so it will likely become a hurricane before making its first one or two landfalls on the Isle of Youth and Cuba. So again, we'll monitor that. You can see our watches and warnings in effect right now across several coastlines and areas. Significant, devastating, life-threatening impacts possible across the United States Gulf Coast. Next full advisory at 5 p.m. Eastern. As we can see here, a very significant chance of tropical storm force winds beginning, of course, Sunday morning on the Louisiana coastline, making its way towards the entirety of the United States Gulf Coast. As we see, again, those watches and warnings in effect from Louisiana over to the Alabama and Florida border. And, of course, for Cuba, the Isle of Youth and parts of the Cayman Islands as well. Rainfall is a big concern with this, 8 to 16 inches, isolated 20 for southeastern Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, and coastal Alabama. 8 to 12 isolated 20 for the Cayman Islands, western Cuba, and the Isle of Youth. 6 to 10 isolated 15 for Jamaica, and 4 to 8 for southern and central Mississippi, as we can see outlined from this WPC forecast over the next 5 days. Very heavy rain expected, especially in southeastern Louisiana with this storm. Another big concern is storm surge, as we can see 7 to 11 feet from Morgan City in central Louisiana all the way to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's our big concern with this. Of course, 4 to 6 feet expected in Lake Pontchartrain, as well as 3 to 5 in Lake Maurepas. And of course, these values head out as we head away from the 7 to 11 foot zone all the way to the Alabama-Florida border, where there's 3 to 5 feet, into Sabine Pass near the Texas-Louisiana border with 2 to 4 feet. Storm surge watch in effect for all of those areas in red right now. Of course, that's going to get upgraded to a warning here pretty soon, around the time we get hurricane warnings in effect for the Louisiana coast as well. Again, 2 general schools of thought, one southeastern Louisiana, New Orleans landfall, and one's more closer to Morgan City, Louisiana landfall. The National Hurricane Center at the moment favoring the latter of the two, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, except for, I guess, historicity's sake, with this Sunday being 16 years since Katrina, and this storm making landfall likely on Sunday as well. As we can see, Category 2, all of the dynamical models now are at hurricane strength at landfall, and so that's concerning. Almost all of them have it to Category 2. Of course, like I said, it's probably going to be a hurricane later today. As you see, when this was initialized, the storm was at 40 knots or so, and it's currently bordering hurricane status. So it's already much quicker intensification than what's shown on this particular projection here. Category 3, Category 4, certainly not out of the question with Ida. Sea surface temperatures are going to be Ida's friend, as we can see 30 degrees Celsius temperatures over much of the Gulf of Mexico, and of course very warm waters next to Louisiana. It's very unusual for it to be quite this warm, and so because of this very warm spot in the central Gulf where it's 30 degrees and normally is between 29 and 30 degrees, that's going to make a decent difference in terms of the intensity of Ida. And we can see the recon passes with Ida recently as well, and we do see some of those purple wind barbs, which means we are nearing hurricane strength, and we have had a decrease in pressure over the past several passes. Again, the GFS model bringing it into Louisiana closer to Morgan City. Same thing on the European, which is, of course, by the Hurricane Center is going with that rather than somewhere, say, towards the Texas-Louisiana border or something like New Orleans. But certainly all of those areas still in play as it sits right now. Let's take a look at the H-WRF again over Cuba. Makes its way, strengthens into Category 4 on this model, makes landfall near Morgan City as it heads into Louisiana and makes its way over the rest of the United States, dumping heavy rain as it does so. Again, thank you guys for watching this part of the video on Ida. I know that's why most of you are here. Continue to watch, subscribe, hit the like button, things like that. That helps out the channel, but mainly it helps other people see the video, which saves lives, and that's the most important thing. Invest 97L, now at 50-60 odds of formation. We'll have the next update at 2 from the Hurricane Center on that. As we can see, no threat to land, not really expected to be a hurricane either. 98L with a 70-80% chance, next update at 2 from the Hurricane Center. Of course, we'll continue to monitor this storm for potential development. Again, not expected to be a hurricane, could be a tropical storm, no threat to land. Good news there. As we can see, here's the overview. Again, we'll have another tropical wave moving off the coast of Africa in about 4 or 5 days. We can see our other 3 storms, of course, Ida, 97L, and 98L as it stands right now. And here's, again, our general overview. I'll have another update out this evening. That's all for now. Chris 69 for Other Catholic Media.